Perfect. I'm actually a little bit cold. I'm just gonna change. I'm just gonna put a sweater on really quickly, okay? Just one sec. Perfect.
What do you have on? Oh, wow. The OG sweater. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Where we started, where we're going, where we are. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
All right. Welcome to the Minding Her Business podcast. I'm here joined by Berkley HL. She
Thank
likes
you.
to go by.
Thank you.
Who is the proud owner of BFITNESS, which is a women's only gym here in London, Ontario. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you for
It's
having
kind of
me.
weird being formal because B and I are really good friends behind this.
I know.
Well,
It is weird
really
being-
good friends.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
You're pinned at the top
Yeah.
for my messages.
So, oh, you're pinned in mine too. So we're best friends, obviously. So for those of you who maybe don't know what BFITNESS is or don't really know like who you are, what you do, can you kind of explain like what you're doing and how you kind of got to where you are?
Yes. So I own a female-only gym here in London, Ontario. I have kind of a long journey from how I got here because I started working at a factory out in Ingersoll at Cami, and I worked there for over 10 years. I always knew that that was something that wasn't going to be for me. You kind of get sucked into something like that because you get good pay, you get pension, benefits, all that stuff. But I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and I think it's kind of difficult to figure out what you want to do at such a young age, like coming out of high school. So I worked there for a while, or quite a while. 10 years is a long time. And then, yeah, I thought I was gonna go to school for hair. I did go to school for hair. I worked full-time 6 days a week, and then I went to hair school full-time for 10 months, which drives me insane because, like, why would you go to school for that long and work full-time and not end up doing hair? But that's how you kind of figure out what you want to do. So hair obviously was not for me, and then that's when I got asked to work at a gym and help someone open a gym, so we did that, and it was really fun, and I was just teaching classes at that time. I never actually really had the thought that I was gonna be a personal trainer, and then obviously COVID happened, so gyms closed down, and gyms took one of the hardest hits through COVID, so I started filming workout videos in my backyard for something to do, and people really responded to that, and it went really, really well. And then when COVID ended and we went back into the gym, I started training people, and then it kind of just blossomed from there. And then I became a personal trainer, and then, yeah, I never really had the intention to open up my own space, but here we are.
Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So can we kind of talk about, I mean, as of right now when we're filming, you're in a temporary location. So, you know, let's go back to the beginning. So what kind of made you decide that you were ready to rent a space by yourself? Like that's a big jump to, you know, commit to renting a space and signing a lease. And, you know, how many trainers did you have at that time? I know it wasn't where we're at today.
Well, I never really intended of having my own gym. Like I kind of talked about it and I saw places, but like on the internet, like I never went and saw places in person. So it never was like a for sure thing. But honestly, the thing that made me jump was Marketplace on Facebook. So I was just browsing one day and I came across a place that was at the end of my street, and I was like, it was kind of tiny, but like something that was like manageable for like starting out. So I showed my boyfriend and I was like, look, this place is like literally at the end of our street. And he was like, oh, that's cool. And we kind of like laughed it off and then like let it go. And then a couple days later it popped up again. And I was like, oh, like this place popped up again. And he's like, well, why don't you just go look at it? So we went to go look at it, and then basically like we were in there and there's a tattoo like parlor in there prior to us, and like his stuff was kind of just like chaotic and like everywhere, so it made the space seem even smaller than it already was. So I was like, there's no way that we can fit like a personal training studio in there, like even if it was just me. So I was like, no, like there's no way that we can do it. And then we left. I was thinking about it. This was literally like an hour later, like we were at my son's soccer game, and my dad was there as well, and he could see that, like my dad and my boyfriend could see we were just like, I was thinking about it like over and over and over again, and they were just like, I can kind of like talk myself out of doing something, and they were just like, do it. So I just messaged her And then literally as soon as we were done soccer, we went and signed the papers, and that was that. So
That's insane. And I mean, we were part of that journey as well. I mean, we were training together at that point, and it was such an incredible jump for you. At that point, how many trainers did you have?
just myself.
It was just you.
Yeah.
And then how long did it take for you to get a couple more trainers after that?
Not long, because honestly, when we first opened, I guess when I first opened at that time, there was a need and there was a really good response for women wanting to come train at the gym. So I ended up hiring 2 trainers at that time, but basically it just got super popular and people really wanted to come train with us. So now we have 17 trainers.
No big deal. So,
Oh my God.
so why women's only? Why, what made you, I mean, you're catering to a particular demographic. Some may say you might be limiting yourself to only women. I know you've heard that before, which is why I'm using those words. Why did you choose women's only?
So when I first opened BFITNESS, I didn't even have it as women's only in the first maybe month and a half, because I was really still unsure on whether that was the right route to go in. But the more I thought about it, and I also had people in my head that have told me that it wasn't a good idea. But the more that I thought about it and the more that I talked to people about it, they really thought that it was a good idea and it was a really good niche to have. And just from my opinion, I just think it's really important for women to have a safe space where they feel comfortable to work out at, where they don't have to worry about other people looking at them or judging them. I feel like females are a little bit less judgmental when you're going into a space like the gym. And it just allows us to have more creativity, and we allow a wider range of women to come work out with us because we have a safe space where women who wear hijabs, they can wear whatever they want in our space and they don't have to worry about whether men are there looking at them or not. So it just makes it a more comfortable space for them as well. But the bottom line is I just think that women need a safe space. Women need a safe space to work out in.
I think that's so important, and it fits such a...
I just saw the two, I'm like, get away from me.
I think that's incredible. I mean, as a person, I go to Good Life when we're not training together, and I can tell the difference. I even messaged you one time when I was
not just one time.
I met multiple times. It's been
many
multiple
times.
When I was in Toronto and I needed to go to a gym because I wasn't able to go to BFITNESS, and I'm like, it makes you appreciate your space so much so much more. And not to say that men are the worst, but sometimes they are. That's why this episode is called No Boys Allowed.
They are.
But I mean, particular men can make you feel insecure, and being in a gym is so vulnerable, especially if you don't really know what you're doing, and you don't know if you're lifting right, or you're just eyes on you, or being objectified. It's not a great place to be in a gym.
Yeah.
I just love the space that you've created. Obviously, that's why
Thank you.
I go there all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what do you think made your gym, you got trainers so quickly? So why do you think that all these people wanted to work at BFITNESS?
That's a good question. I would say, I think I've really built a reputation for myself. So I'm gonna have to give credit, when I worked at the other gyms, not necessarily those gyms that they did much for me, but I worked really, really hard to build a brand for myself. So I already had built that brand, even though it's a little bit different because I didn't have an actual gym myself, but I built BFITNESS prior to that, and I built good connections and good relationships with people. I genuinely care about my clients, and I go above and beyond for everyone. So I think I've just built a really good reputation. And then I think just having that special niche where it's women only, and I think that was a really, really big need here, here in London, Ontario. I don't really think we have anything like that in surrounding areas either. But I think just because it's that special something that no one else has, I think that's why it grew super, super quickly.
And do you think that also attributed to your client growth as well?
Yes, because, that's why I had to hire more trainers, because my clientele was already full going into the space. So that's why I hired the other girls, because there are so many people who are interested in getting training, and that's why we had to hire more trainers, because we built our clients that way.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. So what do you think has been the biggest business challenge you've faced so far?
Honestly, like, I'm gonna knock on this wood, but it's been a pretty smooth year. Financially, like moving into a bigger space, like obviously that's a struggle because like I don't have people just like handing me money. So that's like a burden a little bit because obviously gym equipment is very, very expensive for no reason. I was just looking at like a box, like a plyo box before I came here. It was like $500, and I'm like, what is this? So honestly, like the financial aspect of it is definitely challenging. And then I would say it's been pretty smooth other than like dealing with my landlord at my...
So that's where I was going to go with this
yeah,
question.
I was like my previous landlord that's still trying to come after me, so...
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
So you were in the space, the first space you've gotten by yourself. It's 500 square feet, that's the one you started in, you've built this business essentially. So can you tell us, I mean, there's a little bit of a gap, I don't want to speak for you, in between when you can move into the bigger space and this one. So can you tell us what that journey's kind of been like and what you're dealing with right now? You don't have to get into too nitty-gritty details, but...
Yeah, so my landlord at my previous location, basically I asked if I could stay a few extra months until we could get into the new location. They weren't interested in that, basically, like long story short, they weren't interested in that. I feel like they were just like stringing me along to see if they could get another tenant in there. I even offered them an extra month of rent and they didn't want to take that either until they didn't have anyone in there, and then they were willing to take it. But at that point I was already checked out because I feel like they were just like playing me along and like stringing me along. Yeah. So we moved out. They asked me to give the keys to the back neighbors, which are not very like trustworthy, responsible individuals, I would say. Yep. And so we did that, and then we moved into the new location. So we're in a temp spot right now. They basically are still texting me, like the wear and tear from like having the mirrors on the wall and like anything that we put in the wall, like there's holes, like they just need to be patched and like filled, sanded, painted. And then they tried to come after me about the baseboards because they had these like really cheap rubber baseboards that were there. We took those out and we put new ones in, but then we took ours when we left. Yeah. So they basically don't have baseboards, but like there's like dirty carpet in there that smells like cigarettes and like weed, and it's just like, it's gross. And it's like they should just upgrade their place anyways for the new tenants. Yeah. So basically they're trying to come after me. They got a quote, I'm gonna put quote, which is $1,500 to basically fix all that stuff, replace the baseboards, and then she also thought that I took the flooring out of the back, but it was just my mats that just left markings, like they just need to clean it. Yeah. So $1,500 for that, which is just like way overpriced. Oh yeah. So me and my boyfriend were just like, we're not even gonna answer. So basically they just said that they're gonna see me in court. So I'm just like waiting to be served, or I'm just like calling their bluff. So I don't really know which way
BFITNESS
it's gonna go.
Court.
Yeah, see you in court.
Oh God.
Oh, I'm going to jail.
Minding your business is getting political, everyone.
Yeah. So I just don't think it's reasonable because when we moved in there, we patched holes, we sanded, we painted, we did all that stuff. So I feel like I should be reimbursed a little bit for that. So it's just...
It wasn't in perfect condition when you were there, so you didn't feel like you had to leave it in perfect condition either. And it was such a hassle and all that stuff. Yeah, so, I get that.
See you in court.
See you in court. So can you tell us a little bit about your new space?
Like temp space or new space?
The new space, the big space. So for everyone who doesn't know, the new space is 10 times bigger than the old space, which is a huge jump.
Yes.
And obviously that's super exciting, and I want to hear kind of about that. And I also think it's important, if you're willing to share, is to talk about how you're able to, or how you're managing filling the space with equipment that we just talked about is so expensive. And also, if you didn't know, Berkley is a mom of 4. So how are you...
Shout out to my kids.
...doing that? How are you doing that?
Which one do you want me to answer quick first?
All of them. Let's start with...
The space?
The space.
Okay. So, yes, the space is 10 times bigger. I always wanted to have a gym that had memberships because it's like we have our female sections in like Good Life and Crunch.
Yeah.
I think that Damien. So
Okay.
we have 3 gyms that have female-only spaces, but the stuff is very outdated and like old, and it's just not great.
Yeah.
So basically, I wanted to have a space where I could offer memberships and classes and personal training on top of that. Obviously, being in a 500 square foot space, like there's not a lot of room to do any of that kind of stuff. So that's why we kind of outgrew, like we couldn't make more money because we were limited in what we were able to do. So that's why we needed to move into a bigger space, not necessarily 10 times the size, but I think that's what's going to facilitate like what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to have all those offerings, and we'll be hiring more people to come and teach classes. And yeah, so you can come in and work out whenever you want, or you can come do a class, or you can still do your personal training. We actually just came up with all the pricing and stuff, so we're hoping that
That's so exciting.
in the next few weeks, maybe we'll do a pre-sale, everybody. I don't know. Yeah, so that's the new space. What was your next question, sorry?
So, I mean, if anyone else is trying to think of like how they're going to fill a space, and the number one thing is finances. Like you said, how much was a Stairmaster you purchased?
I kind of like watch to see if things are going on sale, and if they're going on sale, like I'll buy them. So the 2 Stairmasters together were $6,500, which is actually pretty cheap considering, but they're having a big sale and there's free shipping, so I kind of had to like jump on that. As for the finances for the gym,
You don't have to get too nitty gritty, but just if someone's trying to open a gym and they're thinking about, like finances is the biggest hurdle, like, are you paying all of this out of pocket? Are you just
of course
loaded
not.
on the side?
None's coming out of pocket. Nothing's coming out of pocket. Like, no. If I can buy something with cash, like I look on Marketplace and stuff, if I can find something that's like good quality, like I'll buy it off Marketplace with cash so that it's just paid for.
Yeah.
Like for example, I just got a hip thrust machine. It was a floor model, so no one's actually used it, and it was 50% off. So
That's
like
incredible.
I just snagged that. So I kind of keep an eye out for that. We have come up with like a business plan, so we have applied for grants, but that takes time, so that might be a little bit it might be a little while before we hear back. We are talking to investors as well, so that is also an option.
It's incredible.
But if all else fails, like if we have to take out lines of credit and take out high interest loans, then we're willing to do it because we believe in our business that much. So just got to do what you got to do sometimes. So
I love that so much.
that's basically what we did. Like when we opened the small location, like we didn't have to fill it as much as we obviously will with the next one, but the smaller location like was probably about 15 grand, like, and plus some, like as you're going along and adding stuff, but we don't have 15 grand just sitting in our pockets, like especially after just having our third. I don't know, maybe other people do. I definitely do not.
I definitely do not either.
So yeah, especially after having like our 3rd and 4th child. And Christopher was also on mat leave, so we kind of just like used our credit cards and like maxed those out, and like that's not the most ideal way to do it, but that's just how we did it, and we got it done, and it worked, and we paid off our credit cards, and that's just how you do it. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. It might not be the most ideal way, but if you genuinely believe in your business, then you'll just do it.
I love that.
Just do it.
So to talk about Chris, let's talk a little bit about your family life too, and just having 4 kids and building a business that's been growing so rapidly, and you have so many things on the go. Like, how are you also need to be in person. Like, you have your own clients. You're not just delegating all these clients to your other trainers. You have a full schedule as well on top of having 4 kids.
Yeah.
How are you doing that?
I don't know if I am. I don't think I am half the time. Honestly, there are days where it's really hard. Chris and I really struggle sometimes because we get overstimulated so much from the kids. Like Jalen just went to school for this is his first year in school. And then we got really lucky where we got all 3 of the kids in daycare, which was a big game changer for me.
Really quickly, for those who don't know your kids, how old are all of they?
Well, Jalen is 4.5, Mayal is 2.5, and the twins are almost a year and a half in November.
4 under 4, everyone.
Yes.
And a growing business.
Lucky me.
But okay, so Jalen just started school.
Yeah, so Jalen started school and we got the other 3 in daycare, which was a big game changer because it just gives me more flexibility throughout the day. But like anyone who owns a business and they have kids, like they'll understand this. It's like you go to work, but the second you're home, like you're mom.
Yeah.
So it's like you never get to really shut off. So it can be really challenging some days. But like I said, like if you really care about something, like obviously I love my children and like I love my business, like you'll just figure out a way to manage it and do it. Some days are really, really crazy, but the daycare, honestly, like in the school, just it helps so much. So
not to get too personal, but I mean, I can feel this, and I know I've heard other people say this as well, is, you know, you're trying to give your all in so many different places, and sometimes you feel like you're just not doing it in any, or you're like some certain areas of your life are the ones that suffer.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you ever struggle with that?
Oh, 100%. I talk to Chris about this all the time, like, and I talk to other people about it too, like my clients and stuff. It's like, if you have big things on the go, like sometimes other things are going to suffer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that it's going to be like that for the rest of life. But like, for example, right now, like with the kids being in daycare, like I used to spend my breaks like during the day at home with them, where now I don't see them, but I work evenings, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So for those 4 days, I don't see my kids because by the time I get home, like they're already sleeping. So, and they've only been in daycare for probably like a month, whenever September started, a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
So it's been a big adjustment for everybody, and it has been really hard because I haven't been able to see my kids, but I know that it's a temporary thing. And like same thing with Chris and I, like we don't get to spend that much time together, but I know that that's temporary because we're trying to build bigger things right now. So once the bigger location opens and things are starting to run smoothly, like my goal is to kind of back away from my evening clients and like kind of pass people off so that I can be at home more and then work a little bit more during the day so that I have more of a balance, so that I can see my kids in the evening. And then if Chris and I want to do things on the weekends, we're looking for a babysitter. So that's something we're in the works of. But yeah, like I said, like if you have other things on the go, like sometimes something suffers and like that's okay. As long as you recognize that and you're willing to work towards it and figure out a solution for it, like then it's fine.
And do you think Chris has been a really big supporter throughout this whole journey?
Oh my God, I couldn't do it without him. I literally couldn't do any of this without him. Like sometimes like we butt heads so much and like we're very much alike, but like he supports me so much and I support him so much, and I think that like is why both of us have been very successful. Like I've been very, very successful because I've had his support, and like he's been able to go back to school to be a firefighter, and like now he's back in construction until he gets hired for fire. But if you don't have a supportive partner, like when you have 4 kids and you're trying to like run a business and like he's trying to go back to school, and like if you don't have that support, then like it's not going to happen. It's going to be impossible.
I think it's so inspiring you're following your dreams, which, you know, it also inspired Chris to follow his dreams and go to school, and you're just supporting each other left, right, and center. And obviously the firefighting industry is crazy competitive, so we're not in there just yet, but he got that school done and he's ready to be there whenever he can. So I think that's great that you guys have supported each other.
Thank you.
It's so special, it's so inspiring, and it's a little love story.
I know it sounds so sweet, but like when you're in it, it's so hard, and like no one sees like how hard it is behind closed doors, because like everything is so perfect on social media and on Instagram, but like we really, really struggled in the last year, but like it's honestly been also one of the best years ever. So
even coming to the gym, when I'd come to the gym and I'd say, oh, I'm so tired, I did this, and then it's like, reality check, Berkley's tired, she's running a business and she has 4 kids at home. And it's like,
I always tell people that, like people say that all the time. It's like you can't compare your tired to someone else's tired. Like you're more than okay to say you're tired too. Like everyone has their own tired, everyone has their own things going on, so you can't compare. Like same thing with people being like happy and stuff. Like social media is fake. You see lots of stuff on there, but like in reality it might not quite be like that, but you can't compare, because you are also welcome to be tired too.
I just hard to feel as tired when I know you have 4 kids at home.
I know.
So just to piggyback and to go back to your journey, so you started making videos during COVID in your backyard, didn't you?
Yes.
I did. For the social video, we'll put some of
those
clips on.
Please do not show that. I'm so embarrassed by some of those.
So how do you think those like humble beginnings kind of shaped who you are as like a business owner and like a leader today?
I think that was the start of my journey without even really knowing it, I think, because I mean, it's hard because people are like, how did you start? And I don't think it's a fair comparison, because during COVID, it was like a completely different time. Like my videos took off because there was literally nothing else to do. Like all you had to do was work out at your house. Like that's all you could do. So I don't think it's like a fair comparison to someone who would start out now trying to post on social media, because it's so hard. It's just a completely different time. So I think that really shaped because people saw like the workouts I was posting, they really enjoyed them, and then people wanted to start training with me. So I think that's kind of how that developed. And then just like having that work ethic and like working really hard and just like trying to continue that on once COVID finished.
I love that. So part of that journey, you've worked for a couple men. And I know some of them, we won't get into the nitty gritty details of that at all.
No, we won't.
But I know one or a couple of them have been a little, not discouraging, but maybe not as enthusiastic about this women's only idea of yours when it was just an idea and a concept. So do you have anything not entirely rude to say to them right now?
Not entirely rude?
Just remember, this is like a 14A podcast.
Okay. I'm just going to go the mature route and I'm just going to say, I think that my business speaks for itself.
I love that. That's perfect. That definitely speaks for itself.
Yes.
So mature of you.
I know. I've grown in the last 5 minutes.
Okay, so for someone, maybe not even thinking about women's only, but someone who wants to be even a personal trainer, let's start with that. I have 2 parts to this question. So we'll start with someone who wants to start as a personal trainer. What's some advice you would give to them to start out?
Make sure you genuinely care about it. Like you can't, well, I guess you can, like as a trainer, like you don't have to like absolutely love it, but I think it matters more like when you really care about it and like you care about people and like genuinely helping people. That would be my number one thing. Make sure you care. The second thing, I'd be like, go get your cert.
Yeah.
Go get your shirt online.
Important.
Please go get your shirt. But you can kind of like chip away at that. Like you don't necessarily have to be certified to train people. You can kind of get started and like do it at the same time. But I would get certified. The next thing I would do, I'd probably like get on social media and start showcasing what you can do and training friends for free and family for free. Like I've trained a lot of people for free. I do giveaways, stuff like that on Instagram, just to show people, like to get them in the door basically and like show them what I can do, and then they want to stay with you afterwards. So
I love that. So that's the personal trainer aspect. So do you have any advice you would give to someone, a woman or a man or just anyone that would maybe want to open a gym?
Open a gym. Just do it. Honestly, just do it. No, you have to work really, really hard. It's been like nonstop work since we opened BFITNESS over a year ago. But I feel like I didn't know what I was doing. Like no one like told me what to do or how to do everything. I think we just kind of learned as we went. Like we just kind of figured it out. And if I had questions, like I'd ask people and get ideas from other people and see what they liked. But like I basically had an idea from all the things that I didn't like from the previous 2 gyms that I worked at, which is a lot of stuff. So I learned all the things that I didn't like. So that helped a lot because I took those and then I spun them and did the opposite of whatever those things were. So I would say just do it. Don't think about it. If you want to do it, do it. Work really hard and don't ever give up.
I love that. Okay, do you think we missed anything? Is there anything you want to cover before we go into our little special segment?
You have a special segment?
I have a special segment just for you.
Oh, God. Anything that I want to add? Yeah, if you guys want to come join BFITNESS, we're going to be hopefully opening January 1st. We're going to be London's only female-only gym. Yeah, we'll have personal training, classes, open gym memberships, and we're really looking forward to opening, and we really hope that you guys that are listening want to come join us.
And where are you located?
In
and around.
We're going to be the southwest end, so basically we're looking at Southdale and Moorcliffe.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, time for our special segment. So Berkley is a huge energy drink fan. So
Guys.
Specifically Alani energy drinks. So we have some 4 Alani energy drinks here, and we're going to blindfold you, and you're going to taste test them and tell us if you know what flavor they are.
Oh, God. Okay. What if it's one that I don't drink and I'm like, I don't know what that is?
That's all right. You're going to have to, so for people that can't see us and they're just listening to us, I'm going to need you to describe what you're tasting.
Oh, God.
Well.
Okay. I'm so scared. I hate being blindfolded.
We have our perfect little assistant here. All right. Okay. Put your hands out.
Hands?
Yes. Okay, so this is our first one.
Okay. What is that? I don't know. Is that peach? I've never had peach before. That's what it kind of tastes like to me.
Okay.
Hold on. I've never had the peach one before, but it tastes peachy to me, so I'm going to assume that this is peach.
It is peach.
Okay.
Good job. Okay. The next one, we will go with this. This one I know you've had before.
I have.
100%. It's not your favorite though.
Wait, are you sure?
Yeah,
Are you sure it's not my favorite?
I'm pretty sure.
Is it red? Because
No, it's not red.
Are you sure I've had this one before?
What are you tasting? What notes are you tasting?
I don't know. Like it tastes orange.
It's blue.
This is the blue raspberry?
The breezeberry, yeah.
Oh no, I haven't had that one.
You haven't had the breezeberry?
No, I don't like
It's at
blue.
the gym all the time.
I know, I don't like blue flavors. I go for reds, so I haven't had breezeberry. That actually threw me off. That was a good one.
Okay, ready?
No, because now I'm scared. Oh, that's my rock star.
That is your rock
Hold on,
star.
let me finish this one. Couldn't fool me with that one.
Perfect. All right, and last one.
You said Alani, and then you threw my rock star in there.
I know, I just tried to trick you there.
Oh, is this Cosmic Stardust?
Yes.
Ugh.
You don't like that one?
No, I'm over them, I think. I think I'm over the...
Alani, we need new flavors in Canada.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Sponsor me.
You can't. Well, you just said the last flavor wasn't very good, so I don't think they're going to sponsor us.
I think I said like all of them are good.
Okay, well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Minding Her Business with Berkley. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
That was such a great chat.
It was a good chat.
B will be back for more episodes, definitely, and we'll want to hear about the new space and how that's evolving. But thank you so much, and stay tuned for our next episode with some amazing guests. Thank you.
Thank you.